Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 24, entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva, text number 65. Sa esha lokan ati chandavego. Sa esha lokan ati chandavego. Vikarshasi tvam khalu kalayanaha. Vikarshasi tvam khalu kalayanaha. Bhutani bhuter anumeya tattvo. Bhutani bhuter anumeya tattvo. Ghanavalir vayur iva vishakhyaha. Ghanavalir vayur iva vishakhyaha. Sa eshu lokan ati chandavego. Vikarshasi tvam khalu kalayanaha. Bhutani bhuter tattvo. Ghanavalir vayur iva vishakhyaha. Sa esha lokan ati chandavego. Vikarshasi tvam khalu kalayanaha. Bhutani bhuter anumeya tattvo. Ghanavalir vayur iva vishakhyaha. Gentlemen. Ati chandavego. Vikarshasi tvam khalu kalayanaha. Tani bhuter anumeya tattvo. Ghanavalir vishakhyaha. word to word. Saha, that. Eshaha, this. Lokan, all the planetary systems. Ati, very much. Chandavegaha, the great force. Vikarshasi, destroys. Swam, your lordship. Khalu, however. Kalyanaha, in due course of time. Bhutani, all living entities. Bhutaihi, by other living entities. Anumeya tattvaha, the absolute truth can be guessed. Ghana avalihi, the clouds. Vayuhu, air. Iva, like. Avishahyaha, unbearable. Translation with repetition. My dear Lord, your absolute authority cannot be directly experienced, but one can guess by seeing the activities of the world that everything is being destroyed in due course of time. The force of time is very strong, and everything is being destroyed by someone else. Just as one animal is being eaten by another animal, time scatters everything exactly as the wind scatters clouds in the sky. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The process of destruction is going on according to the law of nature. Nothing within this material world can be permanent, although scientists, philosophers, workers, and everyone else are trying to make things permanent. One foolish scientist recently declared that eventually life will be made permanent through science. Some so-called scientists are also trying to manufacture living entities within the laboratory. Thus, in one way or another, everyone is busy denying the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and rejecting the supreme authority of the Lord. However, the Lord is so powerful that He destroys everything in the form of deaths. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 10.34, Mrityu sarva harashaham, I am all devouring death. The Lord is just like death to the atheists, for He takes away everything they accumulate in the material world. Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad, always denied the existence of the Lord, and he tried to kill his 5-year-old boy due to the boy's unflinching faith in God. However, in due course of time, the Lord appeared as Nishingadev and killed Hiranyakashipu in the presence of his son. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.47, this killing process is natural. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One animal is food for another animal. A frog is eaten by a snake is eaten by a mongoose, and a mongoose is eaten by another animal. In this way, the process of destruction goes on by the supreme will of the Lord. Although we do not see the hand of the Supreme Lord directly, we can feel the presence of that hand through the Lord's process of destruction. We can see the clouds scattered by the wind, although we cannot see how this is being done because it is not possible to see the wind. Similarly, although we do not directly see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can see that He controls the process of destruction. The destructive process is going on fiercely under the control of the Lord, but the atheists cannot see it. Narayanam namaskrityam naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirajet nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande shri gurum dinatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Namaste Sir. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna. So, we're actually in a very interesting section of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Rudra Gita, right? This is the song, the prayers sung by Lord Shiva. And when we actually talk about Lord Shiva, just before we get into the verse, I thought we'd talk about the greatness of Lord Shiva, because it's important to understand his authority and his position in this universe. When we see, technically speaking, that he is one without a second except Lord Vishnu. So he's the second most powerful personality after Lord Vishnu, second only to Lord Vishnu. He's also mentioned in the Bhagavatam that he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, greatest of the Vaishnavas. Just a couple of verses before, Vidura is actually very astonished, and he's saying all the conditioned beings are engaged in these many different activities in the material world, and it is so rare for them to actually come into contact with Lord Shiva himself. And even great sages, they meditate for thousands of years, and still they don't get the association of or darshan of Lord Shiva. Then how is it possible that these young princes, the Prachetas, got the opportunity to associate with Lord Shiva? So that's how great Lord Shiva himself is. So it's not easy to get direct association. So in the same context, we see the greatness of Lord Shiva. When you try to put it into perspective, we see that among the holy dham of Lord Mayapur or Navadvip, Lord Shiva is actually the protector of the dham. He is also called Vriddha Shiva, Dhameshwar. Vriddha Shiva is the protector of the dham, along with Prauda Maya, his consort. So Vriddha Shiva and Prauda Maya are there in Navadvip. So usually when the devotees, they go on a Navadvip Dham Parikram, they first take darshan of permission and darshan of Vriddha Shiva. So the deity of Vriddha Shiva is actually behind the Yoga Peeth. So the devotees offer obeisances to him, offer circumambulation, and start parikram. This way, actually, if you see in the Navadvip Dham, each island has something or the other to do with Lord Shiva. You know? Just like each island has something to do with the Lord and different 9 devotional services, the same way, there is some pastime always attached to Lord Shiva and one dham. For instance, when you talk about Simantadweep, that's where Lord Jagannath is, Rajapur Jagannath. So in Simantadweep, Lord Shiva actually instructs Parvati Devi to worship Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. You have a guest also. So, following these instructions, she Parvati Devi, she sits in the place of Simantadweep. So she sits there and she's very intensely praying to Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu to gain his darshan and his association. And after she intensely prays to Mahaprabhu, chanting Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. What's she chanting? Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And finally, Mahaprabhu actually comes and he gives the darshan to Parvati Devi. So that's why this particular dweep is also called Simanta Dweep. This is a place where the sindoor of Parvati Devi was filled with the dust of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So when she offers obeisances at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, the dust from his lotus feet actually is on her sindoor, that region. So that's why the place is also called Simantadweep. So now you see how this island is connected to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva instructed Parvati Devi, and Parvati Devi got the mercy of Lord Shiva. Similarly, Godrumadweep. In Godrumadweep, we have the very famous Harihara Kshetra, where the deity is of half Vishnu and half Hari and half Hara, which is Shambho Shiva. So after Lord Shiva was bewildered by Mohini Murti, so Lord Shiva actually meditates upon the Lord, and the Lord reveals this particular form, saying that actually you and I are not different in purpose. We actually work together, right? So another very interesting place is that Harihara Kshetra is not different from Banaras, and it is there is a wonderful benefit. When somebody dies or leaves the body in Banaras, then Lord Shiva comes and he comes near and he whispers in the person who's dying. He whispers in the. Does anybody know what he whispers? So, but the greatness of Harihara Kshetra is that when somebody is dying in Harihara Kshetra, Lord Shiva comes and he whispers in the ear, Gauranga! Gauranga! That's such a wonderful place actually to leave the body. Lord Shiva himself, he comes in Mahaprabhu's name. So that's Godrumadweep. So actually, this is a real compassion of Lord Shiva. He is in a position that he is actually dragging a conditioned soul and he is liberating that soul from this terrible material existence and placing that soul onto the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Another interesting related to the island is Madhyadweep, where we hear about Hamsavahana Shiva. So what happens is that one day the glories of Mahaprabhu is being sung, Gauranga Bhagavat is being sung, and all the sages have been assembled to hear, all the devotees are waiting to hear. But then Lord Shiva is planning on coming and hearing, but then he realizes that he's late, and if he has to come in his Nandi carrier, it's going to take a long time because he's a bull, Nandi is a bull, so he's going to take some time on the land route. It's going to take a time. Then what he does, he actually goes and requests Brahma and says, give me your swan carrier so I can quickly go and relish the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So that's what he does. So he jumps onto the swan carrier of Lord Brahma. Swan carrier is no ordinary carrier, it's horses in a jet. He comes to Madhyadweep and he listens to Gauranga Bhagavat. So even to this particular day, there is actually a deity of Lord Shiva on a swan, and he's being worshipped. Actually, a couple of years, I think maybe last year or the year before that also, we had the opportunity of Lord Hamsavahan Shiva from Madhyadweep. He actually came to our ISKCON temple there, Chandrodaya Mandir, and all the devotees got the opportunity to offer Abhishek to him, offer nice, wonderful garlands, talk about his glories. So Lord Shiva also is very attached to Mahaprabhu. He keeps visiting and seeing Panchatattva there, Radha Madhava. Another very important island, Rudradweep, it's also called Shankarapura. This is where actually Shankaracharya, he personally got the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very interesting. Not many people know that Shankaracharya is actually very, very famous in propounding the Mayavada philosophy, the Advaita philosophy, to actually cover the actual meaning of the Vedas. He's trying to drag the people from the monastic philosophy of the Buddhism and trying to actually get them to some understanding of the Vedas. So that is the purpose of Lord Shiva in the form of Shankaracharya. And many people would think that he's actually against the Lord and everything is covered. It's just Brahman and stuff like that. But actually, if we see Lord Shiva in the form of Shankaracharya, he also got darshan of Mahaprabhu in Rudradweep. All right. So he actually, when he goes to Rudradweep and he's thinking that let me preach this Mayavada cult. The people here now, but then Mahaprabhu comes, he gives him darshan and says, okay, no, this is my place. This place is only place for bhakti, pure bhakti, nothing else. So you don't have to preach here. Other places you can go. And Shankaracharya is like, okay, thank you for the instruction. That's an interesting interaction between both of them. Another region, I think it was Modadrumadvip. Modadrumadvip. That's the place where actually Nityananda Prabhu worships Lord Shiva. So in this way, each island has some kind of interaction with Lord Shiva. So we can try to understand how great actually Lord Shiva. He's guardian of Navdeep, and he also brings the devotees closer to Mahaprabhu. So now when we come to this verse, we see that Lord Shiva is saying, my dear Lord, your absolute authority cannot be directly experienced. But one can guess by seeing the activities of the world that everything is being destroyed in due course of time. The force of time is very strong and everything is being destroyed by something else. Just as one animal is being eaten by another animal, time scatters everything, exactly as the wind scatters clouds in the sky. Yeah, that's actually the reality of death. Inevitable death. So for atheists, Prabhupada is also mentioning the purpose. So when you talk about atheists, they are just interested in I and mine. They don't YOLO, you only live once. That's the philosophy, right? That after this, there's oblivion. So let's enjoy to the maximum extent possible. Let me squeeze out the juice of this material world as much as possible. So, many humble devotees. So that's the kind of mentality, the philosophy of the atheists and the materialists. An interesting analogy is also given in the Bhagavatam. It is exactly as chewing the chewed. When we have some nice opulent prasadam, nice rice, dal, bhat, sabji, puri, all of this, and we chew it. We chew it for some time. And after we chew, what do? We swallow it. That's when you get all the nice taste, all the different spices, all the different types of sweet, sour, spicy, all of these different flavors we feel. And what do? We swallow. But then when we come to the analogy, it says that we're chewing. But then again we chew the chewed. Do you think there's something else extra we're going to get? Again we chewed the chewed. Easy way to understand this. We have a sugar cane, right? We start biting into the sugar cane. Keep biting into the sugar cane. First time we bite into chew it, we get all the sweet rasa, all the sweetness we get. Then after some point in time, keep on trying to chew. It's going to get stuck in the teeth. That's all is going to happen. All the fibers get stuck in the teeth. You don't get any more sweetness. But then what do we think? Oh, let me chew a little bit more. Maybe I can squeeze out a little bit more rasa, a little bit more juice. Maybe I can squeeze out. That's the mentality. It's an unavoidable cycle. And as a result of that, people are stuck in the cycle of birth, death, old age. Is the janma, vrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha. What is janma? Nobody asked for it. Nobody wants to be born. But he's forced to be born. That is janma. Nobody can say, oh, I don't want to be born anymore. I don't want to suffer, this. Just can you imagine you being in the womb for so many months, 9 months. The description is there in the Bhagavatam. That what are the kind of suffering that embryo or the fetus actually goes through within the womb, Sometimes when the mother eats spicy food, the baby within the womb, it feels so much, the whole body starts burning. So much of suffering it actually goes through. And sometimes a little bit, maybe some kind of animals, not animals, living entities within the belly which bite the embryo and the fetus. So much of suffering. Then again, it never asked for it, but it is going through it. Janma, right? Mrityu. Everybody wants to live forever. I want to be immortal. Possible. There are so many modern day treatments, You read about something new every day. I read some article, a very, very uh, disgusting read it was, for me at least, that they use the some byproduct of the fish, they put it on their face and then their body, and because of that, they look younger, they feel younger, and then they have some different kinds of medical treatments. But ultimately, is it going to stop death? One day or the other, going to die. That's why it's called as inevitable as death. You can do anything in the world, but cannot escape from death. Then Jara. Nobody wants to become old. Everybody wants to be nice and young. Sweet 16. Everybody wants to be sweet 16. But is it possible? You become old, teeth may rot and fall, your digestive system is not as it is going to be when it was young. You don't have the physical prowess to do all of the activities. But then the thing, if you see, in spirit, you're always young. You always remember, oh, I used to be able to do this. And as you grow old, your desires may increase. That I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to enjoy my senses. But all your senses are failing. You don't have the strength to do anything. That's the inevitability of old age. And the nice companion of old age is what? Yadhi. Disease. Does anybody like to be diseased? Nobody likes to be diseased. Everybody wants to be in the peak of enjoyment. Disease comes and hampers. Like when you engage in so much of sense gratification, naturally, because of that sense gratification also you get so many kinds of diseases. All of these are just inevitable. All of this come under the process. It's not random. All of this is under the control of the Lord. So we are just completely stuck in this cycle. There's also nice analogy given here that how we see the clouds scattering the wind, but we do not see the wind itself. In the same way, we can actually see this is the hand of the Lord. We can see how the Lord is controlling all of this in the form of time, in the form of all of these activities. We can perceive the Lord in that way. Lord Shiva is basically saying we cannot see the hand of the Lord directly, but we can feel of the hand of the Lord through destruction. Empires rise and fall. Bodies are born and die. Stars appear and disappear. But all are under the invisible control. Yeah? So then the question comes to the devotee. Okay, all of this is going on. So what is my take on this? What do I do? I know that everything is temporary. I don't want to build my foundation on all of these temporary things. You get sick of it, right? All of this birth, death, old age, and disease. Then we have the threefold miseries. We are facing one wave or the other. The threefold miseries: adhyatmik, adi bhautik, adi daivik. Right? You feel some miseries because of your own mind, because of your own senses. You can get some miseries. Otherwise, if you don't have those kind of miseries, somebody else can come and trouble you. Peacefully, you're driving on the road. Somebody comes and crashes into you. Adi bhautik. It's nothing to do with you. You're simply sitting. Somebody comes and pinches you. As a small baby is just sitting, somebody comes and nicely pinches the cheeks, poor baby is just sitting there and starts crying, right? That's the type of Adi Bhautik. Then Adi Daivik, all of these sufferings because of the nature, because of the earthquakes, floods, do we ask for it? Comes. Bushfire. Australia is famous for. The other day I was actually seeing one of the devotees was showing me one of the hottest days here, and so many locations there were bushfire. It was a satellite, and it shows out at least 50 places there's a bushfire going on. Do we ask for it? It comes. So we have all of these kind of suffering. So then the intelligent person, he questions, why am I suffering with all of this stuff? What do I do? How do I actually overcome all of these entanglement? How do I come to a state where I'm not bothered by all of this, or I can transcend all of this suffering? So that is an intelligent person's question. And that's when he actually builds his identity with the Lord. Right? That's when he actually asks relevant questions and he builds a relationship with the Lord and try to understand that actually by doing Krishna conscious activities, by keeping the Lord the center of my life, then only can I actually have hope of transcending these sufferings. It's not by science, it's not by money, it's not by denial. It's not by saying that, again, Prabhupada is also mentioning the purport, like how scientists think that, we can start creating life and all this. And one place Prabhupada actually says that if you actually check, there was one report that all of the chemicals in the body, if you separate it and then you try to check the value, it come up to 100 rupees or within 100 rupees. And Prabhupada is saying, look at these rascals. Just give them this 100 rupee worth of chemicals. Let's see if they can recreate life. It's not possible at all, right? So that's a kind of illusion that everybody is actually facing. So Prabhupada ultimately is saying that the only way is devotional service because we are eternal souls. What is the analogy which is given? If you want to please the entire plant, you have to water the roots. If you want to get nourishment for the entire body, you have to feed food into the stomach, right? It's not that, again, that very nice story, one day all the parts of the body just start fighting. The hand is fighting, saying, why does rascal stomach only gets all the food? I am doing so much hard work. I am lifting, I am cooking, all of this. And then the brain says, you guys, I am doing the most work. I am actually giving all the instruction and all of that. Why should the stomach get? So in this way, each part of the body is fighting. So ultimately, if you try to take food and put it to the hand, put it to the head directly, is it going to have any effect? Is it nourishment going to face? Is the whole body going to face any nourishment? Ultimately, put the food in the stomach, then only the food is processed, you get energy, the whole body is strong. So ultimately, in the same way, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, by hearing about the Lord, by chanting about the Lord, by remembering His glories, and staying in places like Vrindavan, Mayapur. Of course, the temples are all, Prabhupada says the temples are all non-different from Vrindavan, Mayapur. So if you're here in the temple or living close by to the temple also, we have so much benefit. And by doing all of this, we have a chance to shift our perspective from a bodily, gross perspective to actually a transcendental perspective, which is completely related to the Lord. Right? This is how we see. And then finally, when the final exam comes in the form of all devouring, inevitable death, then we have an opportunity that Lord Shiva Himself may come chant in our ears, Gauranga, Gauranga. That is an opportunity. So Prabhupada has nicely created this system that every day, if we just follow this process of getting up early in the morning, sending Mangalarati, chanting 16 rounds, a minimum of 16 rounds, reading the books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, offering worship to Srila Prabhupada, just by doing these simple activities, in addition to the most important of actually trying to spread the same message to others. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, actually, there is no one more dear to me than one who actually spreads my message. So as much as possible, in your own way, you can tell a friend, tell a family member, tell somebody close to you that, hey, look at this. I actually went to the temple today. There's this beautiful deities of Radha Gopinath. I went and had some nice prasadam, and I felt really nice. Why don't you also come here and try to feel the same happiness that I felt? Small way. Just you can approach to people that already love you. You don't have to do, a big thing that, I'm feeling so insecure. I feel so shy. I don't want to approach somebody. If you're feeling that, just go to somebody you already know. Like your family members. Your family members have given birth to such wonderful people such as yourselves. If you are such a nice person, obviously your family members are also in that way nice. So start in a small way, but try to spread this message. If we spread this message, Krishna is saying the person is most dear to me who spreads this message. So Prabhupada says, try to distribute books. Try to go door to door. Mahaprabhu says to Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita and Haridas Thakur, go door to door with straw in the teeth and humbly beg everybody, please chant the name of Krishna. Please chant the name of Gauranga. Just imagine Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. Nityananda Prabhu is non-different from Balaram. Haridas Thakur is non-different from Lord Brahma. They are such great personalities. They themselves are saying, Grihe tako, bhane tako, sada hari bhole tako. They're going door to door and saying, please, so humbly they're requesting, please preach. So just imagine what we must be doing in order to request all the people who are suffering in the material, all these atheists, these materialists, that how much we should be trying to endeavor to bring them closer to Krishna. Right? Everybody's ready to actually try and give this message? Let's chant loudly, Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. So if we do this, we become very dear to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. We become very dear to Lord Krishna. And we become very dear to Srila Prabhupada. If Prabhupada is happy, if the devotees are happy, then the Lord is more happy. Easiest method to please the Lord is to please the devotees of the Lord. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Or realization? So the question was, if we see Lord Balaram as Sankarsana is actually the spiritual master of Lord Shiva, right? But then we see in the pastime here in the Gaur Leela that Nityananda Prabhu is actually worshipping Shiva. How does that relationship work? That's actually the sweetness of the Lord. The sages, they can meditate for hundreds and thousands of years and try to achieve the Lord, but it's very difficult. But a pure devotee of the Lord, just by his pure devotion, he can purchase the Lord. And then he purchases the Lord in such a way that the Lord becomes actually a servant of the devotees. We see that Krishna is saying that, if you see the pastime of Krishna in the Damodar Leela, just if you can see that he is a supreme master of the entire universe, right? He is the Ishvara. He is the Lord of the Lords, supreme controller, one without a second. But then he is actually running when his mother is chasing him out of fear. His tears are flowing from his eyes. All of his kajal is just being rubbed all over, and he's running out of fear. How is that possible? Because of the pure devotion, pure love. So in that way, that's how the reciprocation happens. Because Lord Shiva is such a great devotee of the Lord is like, he's purchased the love of the Lord, and the Lord himself is reciprocating by saying, I will worship you. Just imagine the position of that devotee, pure devotee. Of course, we are all trying to be devotees, trying to follow in the footsteps. But the position of a pure devotee is unimaginable, unbelievable, it's the supreme. He can purchase the Lord himself. Can you just imagine? In the war of Kurukshetra, if you see, Krishna is driving the chariot, and the chariot, the war is so loud, people are shouting, people are being killed here and there. And if the rider, Arjuna, wants to give some directions to Krishna to go right or left, he can't shout because the voice will just get merged. So, what is Arjuna doing? He's basically using his feet and tapping Krishna on the back, saying on the right or the left, saying go right, go left, or go straight. That is the position. Just can you imagine that somebody putting the feet on the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It's impossible. But a pure devotee, because of his love, because of his relationship with the Lord is purchased. There is that wonderful song, Bhaja Gorango, Gaho Gorango, Loho Gorangero Nande, Jai Jana Gorango Bhaje, Jehoi Amara Pranare. Nityananda Prabhu is saying that somebody chants the name of Gauranga, somebody remembers the name of Gauranga, if somebody loudly says Gauranga, Gauranga! Then that person has purchased me. In a similar way, in another place I was reading, Mahaprabhu is also saying the same thing. That if somebody loudly chants, Nityananda! Somebody chants the name of Nityananda, then they have purchased me. So that's how the Lord is so merciful. And He's made it so easy for us actually. But we have to endeavor, we have to take that first step. We have to come out of all our inhibitions, all our material entanglements, and try to take that first step. And you know that wonderful saying, right? Many devotees give different things, but if you take one step to the Lord will take 1,000 steps to some 100, some 1,000. Let's just say unlimited steps. So we have to take that first step. And Prabhupada has made it so easy for us to take that first step. My Guru Maharaj was saying in one place that in this age of Kali, chanting, dancing, feasting. Easy way to actually go back home, back to Godhead. And of course, giving this to others also. Any other questions? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Jai Nithai Gaura Sitanath Pramanande. Jai. Hare Krishna. Gauranga.